Hey guys, it's Gabe, and you'll never guess who just crossed off getting kidnapped off their bucket list. Yeah, I've been dreaming about this for a while now, so much so that 5 years ago I paid a guy on Craigslist to kidnap me on a random day so I could give this whole thing a proper review. And 12 hours in, I'm so bored! There's nothing to do down here! I called 911 just to have someone to talk to and they sent me straight to voicemail! Worst of all, how the hell am I supposed to talk about Pokemon cards in a place like this?
Is that a TCG in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Pokemon TCG Pocket has taken the world by storm, raking in tons of cash, bringing old and new fans alike into the hobby, and also unleashing a new generation of ravenous collectors into the Costco arena brawls. It's safe to say that this app has been a big success. But is it perfect?
No. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I've really been enjoying this game since it came out, but that doesn't make it immune to my incessant need to bitch about things that don't matter.
You see, right out of the gate, this game's existence kinda miffed me. I've been playing Pokemon TCG Live for a while now, which is a buggy, underfunded, poorly designed mess of a digital card game. It sucks, but until now, it was the only way to experience the TCG digitally. So, when this game was announced, I was upset because it confirmed what many of us masochists that play the game already suspected. The Pokemon Company doesn't give a damn about it. From the first trailer, it was apparent that TCG Pocket has so much love and care put into it. The UI, the music, the art, the animations, the sound design, they just have so much more effort put into them than anything else that you would see in this trash pile. Now, to be fair to TCG Pocket, it doesn't look like it's trying to fill the same role as TCG Live. Live is intended to be a way to play the physical card game digitally. It has all the same cards, rules, and broken stupid dog shit annoying decks as the real TCG. Pocket is trying to do its own thing with a much more simplified and casual battle system. Still, all this showed that Live was in the Pokemon Company's rearview mirror now. This isn't actually a new trend though. Back in 2023, the Pokemon TCG Online, which has been running great for over a decade, was shut down in an effort to get everyone to move over to the Antichrist. And if you want to be a nerd, you could argue that TCG Online was a replacement to the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy back in '98. So yeah, case in point, this isn't the Pokemon trading card game's first rodeo burning your retinas.
And with TCG Pocket just about through its first trimester of existence, I can't think of a better reason to yap about a mobile game made for 7-year-olds for 30 minutes. Let's dive in.
Whoa! Free booster packs every day! The artwork on these cards is insane! Look at the holo designs! The full arts look so sick! Immersive rares? Look at this Charizard! He's in a Pokemon war! The card decks is so cool! There's proper sorting! I can show off all my cool shit in a binder just like in real life! Look at these art rares! They look incredible! And it's not trying to nickel and dime me at every corner! There's new content all the time! The sound design, the music, it's also finely crafted! I can't wait to battle! TCG Pocket is simultaneously both incredibly fun and mind-numbingly infuriating. It's like they got the collecting part so right, so what went wrong?
You ever lose your house on a coin flip? Look, I have a love-hate relationship with this game, and if I've learned anything from enduring constant years of emotional manipulation, it's that I need to start with the positives before I tell this stupid game how much I despise it.
TCG Pocket excels in simulating the joys of collecting Pokemon cards in real life. The first thing you see when you log in is a collection of booster packs to choose from, taking you back to the days where your dad would let you pick out one pack from the Target checkout aisle and you got to experience buyer's remorse for the first time in your life. The packs themselves feature some pretty cool artwork that, while I will say isn't as good as some of the ones we've got in the physical TCG lately, still look pretty damn snazzy nonetheless. Another interesting difference from the real TCG is the choice to split up some of the cards from a set into different packs. This adds some nice variety, especially early on in the game's life when there aren't that many sets to choose from. And it also kinda harkens back to how it is with the mainline video games. The only exception to this, at the moment, is the Mythical Island expansion, which is classified as a themed booster pack. This set contains much fewer cards, but kept the game feeling fresh during the nearly 4-month gap between the first two main sets. Genetic Apex, the set that the game launched with, has 3 different packs, and this set has a whopping 286 cards, which is already more than any set in the physical TCG. And the second and newest main expansion, Spacetime Smackdown, has a respectable 206 cards as well. So it's safe to say this game will keep you busy collecting. But how do we collect? Well, introducing the world's newest currency, Pack Hourglasses. The US dollar can only dream about holding value like this. You see, every 12 hours, my will to live is restored when my ear holes are greeted to the sweet serenade of these 3 notes, signaling that consumerism is back on the menu, baby. This little bar is your pack stamina meter, and just like your time left on this earth, it's always ticking down throughout the day. And since it's on a 12-hour timer, that means we get to open not 1, not 3, but 2 packs every day. But only 2 packs? Those are amateur numbers. We gotta pump those up if we wanna have a chance of pulling that licky full art. That's where the pack hourglasses come in. Each hourglass is worth, well, an hour. So you can spend them to accelerate your timer to rip packs more and more. Now, I'll admit that when I booted up the game for the first time, I was pretty skeptical about this system. One of the reasons I avoid mobile games like the plague is their incessant need to have 50 million different currency systems and sub-menus and battle passes in an attempt to be so overwhelming that you just give up trying to make sense of it all and just spend money on the primo currency that can buy everything instead. It really is a shame because a lot of these games are fun and well made. I just don't want to play them because it's so goddamn annoying to do everything else. While TCG Pocket isn't immune to this trend, it's certainly not as overwhelming and greedy as some of the other cases I've seen. With one exception that we'll get into later. All the hourglass systems in this game are really easy to understand, and are fair in that you really don't have to wait too long to build up a decent collection of cards if you don't want to spend any money. It helps make the game into more of a fun daily routine like Wordle or crosswords or something.
Open a fucking pack already!
One neat thing I did not expect was this pack selection screen here. In past digital card games I've played, the game just kinda hands you a pack and that's that. This little carousel is pretty cool as it reminds me of the time when I was younger when I would grab a pack from further back in the shelf just out of pure superstition. Of course, this one feature has spawned a whole bunch of debate about whether or not this wheel is actually real or just giving you the illusion of choice. Some people even believe that packs that are bent or turned around are more likely to have good cards. Now, I never really bought into this theory, and some players since then have seemingly proved that your pack is actually predetermined the moment you click the Open Pack button and not affected by anything you do with this carousel, which is admittedly a little disappointing, but I still like the inclusion nonetheless. Once you've made your selection, you're prompted to swipe across the top to tear off the wrapping, which is immensely satisfying and never gets old. Even better is when you save up your hourglasses to open 10 packs at once and you get to see this cascade of booster packs opening in unison. Now with all this foreplay out of the way, we can finally get inside these packs and get 5 duplicates. See you in 12 hours! Yeah, one immediate difference separating Pocket from the physical TCG is these packs are half the size, which certainly does cut down on the amount of bulk cards you'll find, but does feel a tad anticlimactic at times. I do gotta give the music and sound design a quick shout out here though. I like the little jingle that plays when you're opening a pack, and sometimes there's a little chime that rings when you get a hit, which is pretty fun. Now the presentations of these cards is just fantastic. The layout of the cards themselves is very similar to the Sun and Moon era of the TCG, which I actually really like, and while most of the art for the regular cards are recycled from the physical TCG, they did a good job picking some of the best ones for the most part. Except this ugly-ass Eevee card. I don't know why they went with this art, there are so many other great Eevee cards they could have chosen. Cards are divided up into multiple rarities, with regular cards having 1 to 4 diamonds, with 1 to 2 for commons and uncommons, 3 for a rare holo, and 4 diamonds for an EX card. The really good hits are the gold star cards though. These are the equivalent to your illustration rares in the physical TCG, with 1-star cards giving regular Pokemon time in the spotlight with some incredible art that is completely unique to this game. I wish I could have this Dragonite card in real life, it's gorgeous! And it really just makes me hope that one day we'll get a set in the main TCG with this game's artwork. Now, moving up the totem pole, we have ultra rare full arts. These are more like your special illustration rares or your standard full art or supporter or EX Pokemon cards in the physical TCG. And they also have incredible art. I know most people prefer the special illustration rares over these 3D models, but I've always thought these just look so cool. The way the Pokemon really pop from the background and all the reflective holofoil patterns are just gorgeous. It's almost like Licky is jumping out of the screen to lick me! These 2-star special illustration rares also have some stellar artwork and really pretty rainbow borders as well, but I wish they also had some depth to them in the way the regular full arts do. Beyond that, we have 3-star cards, which are an all-new type of card called immersive rares. There's only a couple of these in each set, which means they are really special when you finally get your hands on one. These cards' whole thing is that they all contain a massive animated art sequence that you can view with its own custom music and sound effects. By expanding the Charizard card, you can see that he's in the middle of a Pokemon war, or Mewtwo's card shows him breaking out of his creation pod thing with a brief cameo from Mew. So far, these have been a pretty cool addition to the game that, if I'm being honest, I can't say I go back to very often. When you use these cards in battle, nothing special really happens. I'm not saying I expect to make my opponent watch a whole ass cutscene every time I put one of these bad boys into play, but this is a digital card game. Why not have the art on the main part of the card actually be animated? You could have Charizard flapping his wings or Mewtwo levitating. Hell, if you wanted to go the extra mile, you could actually have the cards react when they attack or take damage. As it is now, these cards are pretty exciting when you pull one, but after that, they just feel like any other special illustration rare.
But wait, what if I told you there's actually one more type of card I haven't talked about yet? Something so rare that I still have yet to pull one despite playing this game every single day since its inception.
Yeah, gold cards are lame, Sumi. Yeah, the rarest type of card in TCG Pocket is the Gold Crowned card, which is basically identical to a regular Full Art EX, except it's gold. Yeah, these are a thing in the regular TCG, and I don't really care for them very much there either. It's just too simple. These cards are only cool because they're rare, and not because they look better than the normal Full Arts. Those ones have so much more color and pizzazz, and these ones just look like you're pasting a Pokemon on a gold PNG. Now, when you're done crying over your dud pack, your cards will be added to your collection, with any new pulls automatically being registered into the card decks. The card decks is just your way of keeping track of every unique card in your collection, and it'll give some fun facts about certain Pokemon when you reach milestones, which is neat. Diving deeper, you can even create binders or displays to show off some of your favorite cards to your friends online. There's a lot of ways to customize all this as well, with new binder covers and display slabs being added to the game frequently, which gives you a lot of option for theming. I made a shrine. You can view other people's collections in the community tab, where you'll be served a random curation of people's stuff from all over the world, as well as from friends, which is, once again, neat.
Now, I try not to look at other people's collections too much because I get jealous, but lucky for us, TCG Pocket has a way for us to get into our friends' packs as well.
Introducing Wonder Pick, the most ingenious and evil feature in this entire game. Wonder Pick gives you the opportunity to select one card from a friend or stranger's pack to add to your collection. Now, that might not sound all that exciting until you remember that there are ultra rare cards in the mix here. This feature is such a great addition to the game, and it's been a source of some of my most memorable moments for me and my friends yet. Getting a card you've been chasing for so long off a Wonder Pick is a euphoric experience like no other. Sorry guys, sex is old news, I got the Mew EX Full Art. Most of the time though, I fucking hate this stupid shit. So many times when I'm Wonder Picking, I'll choose one of the cards, and as I'm mid-tap, I feel in my gut that I should have picked a different card, and it always ends up being the one I wanted! Of course, just like booster packs, you can use Wonder Hourglasses to speed up your timer and pick again sooner, which I find myself doing pretty often since there's not really a reason to hoard these things. Overall, I really like Wonder Pick. Sure, most of the time it doesn't go your way, but when it does, yeah, I have a gambling addiction. I don't care.
Now, they say you can't polish a turd, and Lord knows I've tried, but let's stop beating around the bush and start talking about one of this game's biggest sins, the battle system.
Like I said at the beginning, I was skeptical of this game from the get-go, and that includes the brief glimpse we got into the battling system. My first impression was that battles in TCG Pocket looked much more simple and dumbed down compared to the regular TCG. And that's because, well, they are.
Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with simplicity. I mean, TCG Pocket is a mobile game after all. It makes sense that developers would want to streamline the battling system to make it a lot more simple and accessible to new players. However, I think there's quite a big difference between simplicity and just blatant bullshit.
At first glance, everything seems to make sense. You want the matches to last no longer than 5 to 10 minutes, so you drastically lower the power level of all the cards compared to the physical TCG. In addition to that, decks are limited to just 20 cards, with energy becoming a separate mechanic that doesn't take up space. There's no prize cards, instead you just get a point every time you knock out a Pokemon, and the first player to 3 points wins. It's simple and it keeps the games quick. Works for me. The problem is when you read all the fine print on these cards. Almost every relevant effect in this game is locked behind some form of RNG, whether that be a coin flip or just actual RNG like with Pokeball. Search your deck for a random basic Pokemon and put it in your hand. Why can't I just pick? Would it really be that game-breaking if I could choose the card that I needed? I already have to get lucky enough to draw the Pokeball card to begin with. And everyone runs this card in their deck anyway, so it wouldn't be like I have an unfair advantage over my opponent. Don't even get me started on evolution Pokemon either. If you're playing a deck that needs any Stage 2 Pokemon, good luck. There are no consistent ways of searching your deck for any evolution Pokemon. You just have to hope the RNG gods bless you with the cards you need, and I mean, tough shit if you don't draw your professor's research then. It's not just trainer cards though. Attacks are constantly reliant on coin flips or other random effects. Gyarados EX randomly discards an energy in play. Celebi EX does 50 damage for each heads you flip. Dragonite just does 50 damage randomly 4 times. There's no consistency here. Even right from the start, you flip a coin to see who goes first, and man, going first feels so bad in this game. Every turn, you get to attach an energy from the energy zone to one of your Pokemon, unless you're going first and it's your first turn. Why? This essentially puts you at a pretty major disadvantage because you'll always be one energy attachment behind your opponent for the entire game. They'll always get to attack first, which is a big deal. Now you may be thinking that the reason for this is to prevent the player going first from potentially winning the game before their opponent can even do anything. If that's the case, which it technically is not, then why not just prevent the player going first from attacking? This is all made even stupider by the fact that there is a way to win the game before your opponent starts their turn, and it's all thanks to this abomination of a card right here. Misty lets you choose one of your water Pokemon in play and flip a coin until you get tails. For every heads you flip, you get to attach a water energy to the Pokemon you choose. Now, I shit you not, I flip tails every time I use this card like 8 times in a row. But then, you get into a game and your opponent uses it going first, flips 4 heads, attaches 4 energy to their Articuno EX, and what do you know, you lost before you even got to play the game. My point with this whole little rant is that a battling system being built upon the foundation of being so incredibly random doesn't allow for as much skill expression, and overall, it's just not as fun or rewarding to try and get better at. Oh my god! I know that card games will always have a degree of luck built into them, and at the end of the day, that's what makes them fun and endlessly replayable. However, in most cases, I still feel like I have some agency in what I can do. Winning in Pocket rarely feels satisfying because oftentimes I just got luckier than my opponent, and losing even feels worse because it usually was just unwinnable no matter what I did. Most of the time, TCG Pocket feels like the game is just playing itself, and I'm just sort of along for whatever wild ride it wants to send me on. This button's making a lot more sense now. Yeah, you can just have the game play itself for you if you want. Why? I'm sorry if this is a hot take, but doesn't this kind of defeat the whole purpose of playing a game? If your game is not fun enough for me to be engaged with one of its main mechanics, then maybe you need to go back to the drawing board there? The only time I've ever found myself using this feature was to get through some of the copious amounts of solo battles the game throws at you so I could collect the pack hourglass rewards you get for doing them. And I gotta say, it was at least slightly entertaining to watch the computer overlook some very obvious win conditions and lose games that were absolutely winnable. With all that being said, I'd still be lying if I said I hadn't had any fun. For me, this game is at its most enjoyable when you fully embrace the RNG and hope for the best. Dragonite is probably my favorite deck to play right now for this very reason. You basically just spend the whole beginning of the game losing until you finally get Dragonite into play and hopefully win the game in one turn with a lucky roll of its attack. Do I feel like I outplayed my opponent with superior decision-making, sequencing, and mental skills? Only if you consider the ability to endure random bullshit a skill.
I should put that on my resume.
This is the stupidest deck in the entire game, and it is not good. But man, it is funny as fuck when you pull a win out of your ass like this.
So overall, Pocket's battling system has its moments, but it still leaves a lot to be desired. Oh, would you look at that? My blood pressure's spiking. It must be finally time to talk about trading.
This is dog shit. Man, they really struck out with this title, didn't they? When Pocket launched, trading, a core mechanic of a trading card game, was noticeably absent. Now, there was a grayed out button on the menu promising that it would come at a later date. Fair enough. As the first couple months of the game's life went on, trading was still absent, with the devs eventually confirming that it would be launched sometime in January 2025. Of course, me being the jaded skeptic that I am, I began to speculate on how the devs would manage to complicate the system. This is a free game after all. There's nothing stopping you from just creating a fresh account and opening a couple more free packs every day and trading all your good cards to your main account. And we can't have that, then you wouldn't be spending real money. Now call me naive, stupid, dumb, whatever you want, but do many people actually do this? It just doesn't really seem worth the effort to open another pack of 5 duplicates 2 more times a day, but I might be wrong, and it certainly seems to be a concern for the devs, which meant that they needed to design a trading system that players wouldn't be able to abuse. They also seem to be worried about a secondary market opening up with people selling their rare cards over the internet like stupid NFTs or something. And at the end of the day, they still want players to spend money on packs, and trading essentially adds a new way for players to get rare cards without paying.
So what did they do? They made it borderline unusable, that's what.
This has got to be one of the worst trading systems I've ever seen in a video game. To start, you have hourglasses, which I expected and isn't really the big problem here. The bigger issue is the rules around what and how you can trade. You see, in the physical TCG, it's simple. I got a card you want, you got a card I want, we trade.
Wait, hey!
In Pocket, you can only trade cards of similar rarity for each other and only one card at a time. This already feels bad because for the 1-star cards, the ones that you typically want to trade, you usually don't have more than one copy in your collection, which means you're almost always forced to lose something in order to get something. Say you had a really cool card that your friend wanted, and they needed to present you something really sweet to secure the deal, right? So maybe your friend thinks, oh, well, I got these 4 EXs that you don't have. I can trade them all for that one card that I want. Nope, you can't do that. It has to be a 1-for-1 trade only. Some people have said that the reasoning behind this is to ensure that people, and especially kids, don't get ripped off. And to that I say, big whoop.
I'm sorry if this sounds harsh, but I'm pretty sure everyone, myself included, has come away from a Pokemon card trade when they were younger, only to have some regrets about the whole thing afterwards. But you know what? I learned from that. I get the intention. You don't want poor little Timmy to get ripped off by some sweaty, greasy gamer, but Timmy learned his lesson, that's for sure. He's not gonna do it again.
Putting these restrictions on trading just makes it so difficult to actually create a mutually beneficial exchange that it honestly just ends up making it feel pointless. But, okay, fine, let's try it. How about I trade you one of my extra Pachirisu for your extra Darkrai EX? Oh, we can't trade new cards? Cool, that makes perfect sense. Well, never mind that. Let's see, I have an extra Celebi Immersive Rare and you have that extra Pikachu Immersive Rare. Oh, what's that? We can't trade anything rare than a 1-star card? The cards that are so hard to get that it makes the most sense to be able to trade? All right, fine. Well, I guess, I don't know. Here I got an extra Pidgeot, you got a Meowth? Cool, let's do it. What? You're telling me that after jumping through all of these arbitrary hoops to find a single card that I'm able to trade, you're gonna charge me for it? I have to destroy my own cards to get the currency to do it? Extra cards that I could have been trading instead? Are you f***ing serious? This right here is just straight up anti-consumer. There's no other way to put it. I know it's a mobile game. I know they need to make money, but come on! This system is borderline so bad that it feels like false advertising to even call this a trading card game.
Wait until he hears about the lack of trading in TCG Live.
This system is bad because if it actually worked, you'd be less likely to spend all of your money opening digital loot boxes to pull the immersive Pikachu that your friend has an extra copy of gathering dust in his collection.
This is not what Pokemon is about. Trading has been at the core identity of the franchise since the very first games. It's a way to foster connection between other players, to help each other, to catch them all. The trading system in this game is not about any of these things. It's simply there because it's a trading card game. It has to be there.
Now, the devs have responded to the massive backlash this system has received almost immediately upon its revealing, but so far, other than adding a few more opportunities to earn trade tokens, they haven't made any actual promises to make any changes people want to see. So to be honest with you, I'll believe it when I see it.
180, that's a new record!
TCG Pocket is one of the most interesting and exciting games to happen to not only the card game, but Pokemon in general in a long time. Is it flawed? Absolutely, but I'd be lying if I said I still didn't really enjoy it. I haven't seen this much excitement surrounding the hobby in a long time, with people that aren't even huge fans or haven't engaged with Pokemon for years getting back into it. They managed to effectively capture the joys of collecting, opening packs, and just enjoying the game with friends. So even though it's not perfect, we as a community can strive to make it better through constant feedback to the developers. It's clear to me that the people that work on this game love Pokemon and want something special for the fans. We just gotta make sure we keep them on the right track.
So at the end of the day, I think TCG Pocket is still something worth celebrating, despite its flaws. Now the same cannot be said for this whole kidnapping thing. I've been stuck down here for hours, and this whole rant only killed like, what, 25 minutes?
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
Well, it's about damn time. I've been bored to death down here. You know, you're sending out a 2-star Yelp review right now, mister.
Wait. Where did you get the idea this was supposed to be fun?
Just a hunch, I guess.
Who the hell did I kidnap? Never mind. If you want to escape here alive, you must complete the game.
Okay.
Aren't you, I don't know, scared? I just said I might kill you.
1.5 stars now.
Okay, fuck, look here. If you can clutch this wonder pick for me, you're free to go. However, if you fail... You die.
Oh. That's it? Okay.
But wait, there's a twist.
Oh, okay, now we're back up to it too.
For each finger you choose to cut off, or remove one of the bad cards from the lot. However many you choose is up to you. You have 5 minutes.
That was awesome!